Good evening, VV Nation. My name is Ryan, and as always, welcome to the channel. Now, in tonight's presentation, I'm going to talk about a scenario that could potentially play out later this year. So I want you to know that you heard it here first. I'm giving you plenty heads up. So let's go ahead and dive in and talk about this subject. Now, the subject I'm speaking of has to do with the Federal Reserve. We all heard of their announcement yesterday where it seems they changed their tone and seem a little bit more hesitant on interest rate cuts. That's right. Now, the Federal Reserve, as we all may agree or disagree, I have a feeling most of us may agree on this, that they were late to the party when it comes to combating inflation. And I have a feeling that they might just leave the party a little too soon, which if they cause interest rates to cut and if inflation decides to rear its ugly head back in the picture, I see one space in particular, well, one commodity in particular that could benefit from this, that being gold. Now, historically, gold has always been seen as an inflationary hedge. And if the Federal Reserve decides to cut interest rates a little too soon, well, that could raise the possibility of inflation starting to rise again. And if you want to hedge inflation and if you want to make some money, well, there's a good place to be, and that is gold. So I'm going to dive into the VectorVest 7 software. We're going to take a look at two gold ETFs, one being optionable, so that way you can actually leverage this hedge and potentially risk less in the process. So if this is something that you're interested in, stick around and let's get started. Now, the first article I want to show you, gold feeble after Fed meet refutes March rate cut prospects. Now, gold prices oscillated on Thursday, weighed by a stronger dollar after the Federal Reserve resisted the idea to rate cut in March. But bullion held its ground as investors continue to cling to the hope that interest rates would be trimmed later this year. Yes, gold has a direct correlation with the strength of the dollar and interest rates themselves. It is seen as a currency play. As we take a look here, the gold market really being underpinned by the continued belief in rate cuts and the lower yields we've seen yesterday, and this is happening despite some dollar strength. Now, that might just be because the Fed left interest rates unchanged and dismissed the idea that it could decrease rates in spring. However, it took off the table long-standing reference to possible additional hikes. Now, right in front of you have a great graph showing the correlation between real interest rates and gold price itself. Now, it is an inverse correlation, so let's take a look. We can see in 2008, interest rates were on the decline. However, gold had the inverse effect and went to the upside. Now, additionally to that, you can see back in 2013 here, interest rates starting to rise again, which caused gold prices to falter over that same time period. However, now we're seeing a very interesting scenario play out. And you can see that gold prices are once again on the rise here, hovering and finding a good level of support at that $2,000 range. Now, if we take a look at interest rates, you can see they have been on the rise over the last several years here. But however, look at gold. Its price is not faltering. And that leads me to the next article. You know, just the title itself, it's telling you everything you really need to know here, that gold price snaps real rate correlation as we just saw in the graph as the Mideast war and US debt weigh on bonds and stocks. So now let's jump into the software and actually take a look at some charts and see what's going on here. Now, on the chart here, I've got GLD, which is the Spider Gold Shares ETF, tracking spot gold or bullion itself. You can see currently trading around $190. Also have it on the near perfect indicator. That's right, so that way we get a sense of trend and trigger. You can see trend has been in our favor now since about October. However, the trigger is just not there. The 5-day moving average of RT, still waiting for it to cross above the 40 moving average of RT itself. But I do like to see that 5-day is converging closer to the 40-day. In addition, if we zoom into a 3-month time span, you can see gold having an updated day after the Fed spoke yesterday afternoon. Now, one thing I would definitely like to see is just the prior high taken out at $193.18. If that's taken out, I wouldn't be surprised if the trigger followed suit around that same time period or potentially before, just depending on the momentum of price action here. Now, the next thing I have for you is the HUI or HUI. This tracks the Gold Bugs Index here. You can see this downward price action here, forming this trend line with several touches. Price action breaking above that with a nice retest here, a nice bullish candlestick with a rally to follow suit. However, since then, price action has been faltering here. You can see we've lost trend here. In addition to that, just no trigger. So at this particular time, I'm seeing it as a little early to play, but definitely keep it on your radar as opportunities may present themselves in the future. Now in the VectorVest 7 system, if you go to the Viewers tab and go to the Watchlist viewer, there's a folder titled ETFs. And if you scroll down, this is what we're looking at now, the gold ETFs. So if you want the VectorVest 7 software to do the work for you, it'll automatically tell you which ETFs you should have on your radar. And if we take a look here, you can see most of the gold ETFs are actually up today, with the Sprott gold miners leading the charge up 3.26%. So again, just want to bring this to your attention so that way you know how to utilize the VectorVest 7 software when it comes to analyzing gold itself and finding great gold ETFs to play the space. And as I mentioned in the intro here, on the exchange column, if you see the little X here, that means that these are optionable. So just take a look at the volume and make sure there's actually a buyer or a seller, depending on what option trade you're getting into. But the ability to leverage these gold plays through options would only enhance your potential for profits. All right, VV Nation, you heard what I had to say on gold. I do believe opportunities will present themselves. Now, if you're more of a trader, you can play this short-term momentum to the upside. Just look at the charts. However, if you are a more conservative investor, we saw the graphs and we're just not getting trigger quite yet. But that doesn't mean forget about gold. Keep it on your radar, as I believe opportunities for profits will present themselves in 2024. Now, if you enjoyed tonight's presentation, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so that way we can keep you updated going forward.
Hey VV Nation, do you want to increase your profits and generate income? Well, you can. For 99 cents, we'll give you access to the VectorVest system for 30 days. And guess what? It's a money-back guarantee. If you don't like it, we'll give you back your 99 cents. But folks, you're going to have access to the best software out there, the best guidance at any price. All you have to do is go to www.vectorvest.com/YT. Folks, it's a no-brainer. Go there right now and take advantage of your 30-day trial for 99 cents.